My people, my lovely people, this is the March 2026 energy reading. As you see here, I've pulled some cards with some divine guidance. I'm Cecilia Inés Tavares. Welcome to Celestine Expressive Healing Arts. And let's just dive in. So, as I always do with my monthly readings, I start with some astrology. So I'll cover not all, but some of the more major astrological transits. And so the month opens up with the total eclipse. It's a full moon total eclipse in Virgo. That's going to happen March 3rd, right out of the gate. And it's represents like a major culmination, major release. As I was saying in the previous readings, January, February, we were wrapping up some things from the previous year, tying up loose ends, doing a last inventory, and release, reconciliation, reevaluation. And we're getting another opportunity too, because now, right, I think Mercury is going retrograde, or is retrograde. So again, we're getting this other opportunity to review, to reflect, to do anything else we have to do before this major new beginning that we're on now. And this has to do with our routines, our work, right? So career, work, our health. There's definitely this theme of purification, or this activation happening now, especially with this Saturn and Neptune conjunction that we have. And there's a lot of energy in the sign of Aries right now, which is also a lot of fire. Fire is very action oriented. So then we have these Casimis happening. Casimis, I think, are when planets are very close to the sun. They're conjunct to the sun. So we have Mercury, a Mercury Casimi in Pisces, and we're in Pisces season. So we're definitely swimming in these emotional waters. So that's really part of the theme that's playing out as well. There is, with this Mercury Casimi though, it is about mental reset, important realizations. Maybe there's going to be some new announcements or launches, clarity, getting clarity, maybe an aha moment, some great idea for this new juncture or venture that you're starting. Then March 17th, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Pisces, and this is all about major karmic endings. So we're starting a whole new reset when it comes to our karmic contracts. And that's probably part of this purification and this major culmination and release point that's definitely connected to that solar eclipse. And again, it's in Pisces, so this is all about our emotions, right? Releasing maybe things, emotional memories and relationships from our past. Maybe just the release in itself is going to be very emotional. There is grief that comes with that. It says here, definitely, so definitely endings, spiritual rebirth. And this is interesting because we got the rebirth card here. So there's definitely a rebirth happening. Spiritual rebirth cycle begins, starts new 6-month eclipse storyline. So this is going to be, this eclipse is going to be with us for the next 6 months, this energy from this eclipse season. And then March 20th, we have the sun entering Aries. We start the Aries season, and that also marks the equinox. So it's technically considered the astrological new year. It's a cardinal fire sign, so it's all about initiation and like this fire energy again, very dynamic, very like things picking up momentum, or maybe we just haven't had the energy or the motivation, and now that's gonna also, we're gonna feel more motivated, more encouraged to put in the time to what we want to commit to. And then Mercury enters Aries on the 24th, and that's all about communication. So maybe communication opening up by this point. I think Mercury will be direct, and so yes, it's direct. So open, clear, direct communication is possible now. If things have been a little confusing or muddled, or if there had been some misunderstandings or maybe confusion around this redirection that we're on. And so we're going to be able to make really good decisions, you know, and they might require us to do them kind of on the fly. So it's really about trusting our intuition and clarity of mind, right? So definitely being very grounded in yourself, be very clear about who you are, what your values are, and where you're going, what direction you're going, your intentions. Assertive, it says your assertive thinking. So yeah, like believing in yourself, having more confidence in this purpose, this mission you're kind of on. All right, so let's dive into the cards that we got here. All right, let's begin. So I'm gonna work my way down. I'll start with the first row, build the story out for us for the month of March 2026. And we start with the Sky card, Harmony, that's the 10 of Cups. And then we have your body's power. Look how beautiful. I haven't used these cards in a while. It says here, your body is yours, celebrate your temple. So I don't know if you see this beautiful progression within this line, and please, if you see things that I don't comment on, put it down in the thread, share it with the community. I'd love to talk about these things. I'm really passionate about it. So there's something around, right? Like this is like kind of like this very earth grounded card. And we're trying to find harmony, right, internally, and that expanding out into the sky. It almost reminds me of that saying, as above, so below. So it's almost, again, we've been talking about alignment, finding harmony, how our inner state really ends up projecting or reflecting the outer state and vice versa. What I wrote here is, I find it fascinating that we see beautifully how we are beginning to be guided into grounding into our body's wisdom. So there's something about us really grounding into our body, our physicality, you know, our intuition, our feelings, because we are in Pisces season, right? So I feel like we are. And this is a water card, and you see the dolphins swimming, but it's just more a little bit light-hearted energy, which might not feel possible with the density that we're living in, with all the atrocities that are happening. But I think that's what it is. It's like we, in the midst of all this darkness, we have to be able to anchor ourselves within our own heart, because then we have heart's wisdom within our own body, right? And staying grounded and connected to the wisdom of our heart, which is, connects to the body, and finding harmony from within, so that our life force and our energetic field extends out and impacts everything around us for the better, right? Because that's what I feel the sky represents. It's to cultivate harmony from within so that it will radiate out beyond our energetic field. Reminds me of the saying, as above, so below, which comes from the Greek philosophy. One of the fundamental traditions that actually astrology is anchored in, alchemy and the occult. Everything is aligned, everything is connected, right? The sky card symbolizes lucidity, so connecting to our intuition, which lives in our body, keeping an open, curious mind, but also about using discernment. And if you see here, this connects to the heart wisdom. You see this energy of the dolphin, animal spirit, is coming from the center of this person's chest, their heart center. Here it says, listen to the call of your heart, your guide in love. And then we have Rose too, which is a beautiful card that connects to heart, you know, heart chakra work, and yeah, love, the medicine of love, and love in all forms, you know. So yeah, so harmony is 10 of Cups. It represents lasting happiness, emotional fulfillment, and harmony that extends beyond the individual into the family, community, or soul alignment. So this is harmony that not only, this is harmony with us and everything around us. Like, so all our relationships, where we live, our environment, our community. So it's not only within finding harmony within ourselves, it's also again, it's extending that out into something greater that benefits not only us but a grander, you know, scale. And that's what also the sky represents, right? If you think of the sky, it's like so infinite in a way, right? So it's like this field, this sky full of possibilities, boundless or something like that, you know. And then you have the ocean too, that also has this kind of very like deep, like the depth of the ocean, but also the opposite of that, which is like the heights, the heights of the sky. And somehow our body represents that connection, you know, the connection to the earth, to our bodies. Our bodies are mostly made of water, so it's like our emotional body, our spiritual emotional beings, and, you know, connecting to something greater, something divine. I want to see if I want to read anything from the book. Give me 1 minute. So the sky, it says here, the sky offers advice to practice discernment when it comes to believing in your thoughts and the thoughts of others. So there's something around, yeah, again, having discernment, listening more to with your whole body. That's what intuition is. And not only depending on your, you know, logical mind to make decisions. So, you know, to distinguish what is of value, what is the best decision for me to make in this situation. What is it that I really want? What is it that I really need? It says here, we empower them to become reality, our thoughts. We empower our thoughts to become reality when we join them with our emotions. Here we are, we're talking about emotions. The wisdom of the body and of the heart, of our, you know, so there's this, I feel like there's this, also this theme around integration, which has been running through the readings for this year. And that's what Rose also represents, integration of our emotions, of our body, of our mind, of our spirit. It says here, the union of thought and feeling is how we shape our worlds. To make room for fresh potential, these fresh possibilities, and luminous inspiration, it is important to declutter the mind on a regular basis. Doing so will provide you with great lucidity and open the door to your own sky-like expansiveness. So this is also around expansiveness. And if you also notice where the dolphins, so the dolphins are, this energy is coming from the heart center, but then it's also connecting to this person's like third eye. So it's like this, yes, including the mind, but from a higher vantage point, from a higher consciousness. Because if you see here too, you have the eagle being able to see it from a more expansive, open-minded way, and not, you know, get caught up in our own biases and black and white thinking or something like that. So grounding it in like the wisdom of the body and of the heart, a more integrative way of embodying the world and our, you know, and how and showing up in our relationships more embodied. I want to see if I want to read harmony. I don't know that I want to. I think I've explained, let's see. It says here, let yourself be softer and more receptive now. Okay, that's nice. Yes, so it's also about being more receptive. So be taking a position of least resistance, or like almost like surrender, and trusting, and you know, and just being more in a receptive position, instead of having to do, like try so hard and force things. It's not about forcing things. It's also, yeah, about approaching things from this more easeful, trusting, intuitive place. Because we've matured, we've gained some wisdom along the way through our hardships and our challenges, and now it's like we could use that in order to create more harmonious experiences and relationships. No one else can point it out to you, and when you find it, it says here, because an inexpressible joy is waiting for you just around the corner. But to find it, or for it to find you, it's almost like we have to get out of our own way. It says it's there, it's deep within your heart, ripe and ready to be discovered. So again, the heart is mentioned here. There's something around connecting to our hearts again. Maybe, and I mentioned this, I think, in the last reading, maybe we had our heart closed off. Maybe we had lost hope. We had lost hope in ourselves or in the world, or a certain relationship, or a certain possibility that we had, a dream. And I feel like this is reconnecting us to that, to who we truly, our true nature, and reminding us of what our true calling was. Because I feel like we knew what it was before, and we somehow forgot, or got disconnected from it, and got kind of lost along the way. And we're finding ourselves back to we're finding ourselves back home, to ourselves, to our heart. All right, that's good. And then as far as like the power of your body, I do want to read the book, because I have some beautiful guidance. It says here, remember there is no rose without thorns. I wanted to read that because we got the rose card, which I found interesting. There is no rose without thorns, yet true love is your only way. The song of your heart, your guide. Again, the heart is mentioned. So there's also something around the rose, because if you think of roses, yes, they're beautiful and fragrant, and just like, possess this beautiful like energy of pleasure and beauty and love. Yet they have thorns, right? So it's the way that they protect themselves. These beautiful, soft, delicate things that also has like the shadow aspect, like everything in life. And so I feel like it's almost like this is about like embracing that, like loving ourselves completely, even with our imperfections, or like, maybe it's also about forgiveness for mistakes we've done in the past, about finally letting go of the past, finally letting go of these karmic contracts that we've fulfilled, and not, letting go of the guilt and the shame and the sadness that comes with that. Again, to be able to make room for joy. It says here, remember your true nature. Love is a precious treasure nestled in the depths of your heart, that you may have buried or covered in armor through the hardships you have encountered along the way. Holy, come on, you can't even make this up. There you go. That moves us perfectly to the next line, which is, it is so much beauty here around healing, love, being patient. Yes, you just went through like some crazy shit, and now you're coming, you're just on the other side of that, and it's like, but like let things unravel and unfurl slowly. Have patience with the process, because sometimes, right, we just want things to grow and progress fast, but which, you know, we've gone through a lot, but it's like we're almost there. Just don't lose hope. And what's going to sustain us is our heart. Listen to the call of your heart, your guide in love. I wanted to also point something out. Sorry. I just noticed there's all these horses running at the bottom of her feet. So it reminds me that we're in the year of the fire horse. This is so appropriate. So again, like something around, something taking momentum, something moving, fast movement, growth, progression, expansion. It is an expansive, even her pose, it's like this very expansive pose. Okay, back to line 2. So rose. So let's think about what roses symbolize, right? So roses symbolize love, romantic, divine love, spiritual love, beauty, as I said, desire, passion. It also, I didn't know this, but it also represents life, death, rebirth cycles. And we have the rebirth card, as I said, and we have here the serpent eating its own tail. So there is, and we have the moon cycle here, impatience. So it's definitely talking about a cycle ending and a new one beginning. The rose is strongly linked to Venus and Aphrodite, again bringing in some of the Greek mythology and philosophy. And Aphrodite was the goddess of love. Divine feminine energy, it's connected to the divine feminine, the goddess energy. Beauty emerging from nature. The 5-petaled wild rose mirrors a pentagon, which is interesting. This does look up like a pentagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which symbolizes harmony and human embodiment. Oh my God, harmony. A lot of these cards are like connecting. In Jungian psychology, interesting enough, the rose often represents individuation, which we've been talking about. That's what we're learning. We're learning how to not be codependent, right? Not too hyper independent, but finding this middle ground, all right, of knowing who we are and being able to differentiate ourselves, but also being able to connect, because this also holds a lot of energy around community and connections, and like this grander, bigger energy of love, of coming together and helping a larger cause or mission or something like that. Okay, integration of shadow and beauty. So again, with the thorn, a metaphor that we were talking about, right? So it's about integrating the shadow. If we've been doing a lot of shadow work, we're getting to the point where we're feeling more whole and integrated, and like really being able to access our true nature because of that. So wholeness emerging from struggle. Yeah, again, after the trials and tribulations as we've been through, it's like arriving at wholeness. What else do I want to read? It says here, Rose requires both shadow and light to do her work. Her medicine is strongest beneath a full moon. Also very cool, because we're gonna be having the full moon total lunar eclipse on March 3rd, and there you go. So maybe that there's a connection there to that full moon total eclipse. It says here, the rose medicine is strongest beneath a full moon. She speaks of love within her realm. Nothing else exists. Wow. Communing with Rose is a powerful way to help maintain your heart through the ups and downs of life. So maybe it's also around working with rose medicine in some form, maybe like essential oils, or and some other like flower essence, like there's beautiful medicinal like energetic baths you can take with rose petals. Maybe that's something nice to do for the full moon. Maybe I'll do that too. So yeah, it's working with this beautiful medicine of like to open up our hearts, this soft, beautiful medicine of like the rose, and allowing ourselves to open up and expand our hearts, our mind, right? Opening ourselves up to new possibilities, but also knowing that everything's going to unfold slowly, to have patience. Let's read that card next. To have patience with ourselves. The patience card is 7 of Pentacles. So again, it's this more earthy energy, which connects beautifully with the rose. And if you see this, like she is pregnant. She's gonna give birth to something. It could be a child. It could be something else, you know. It could serve as a metaphor. It could be, again, our own rebirth. And you see how beautiful, lush everything is around her, and all these beautiful radiant colors, and the moon cycle. So again, this very feminine quality to this reading with these cards. So the 7 of Pentacles represents patience, reflection, assessing the results of long-term efforts. So again, since we're still in this like retrograde energy, we're like doing this last reflection and assessing before everything starts picking up and taking momentum. It signifies a pause to evaluate progress on a project, investment, personal goal to ensure you're on the right path for future success. Again, we were talking about that in the last reading, where what we're doing now, we're committing, we're devoting ourselves to that for the long haul. So it's something that we are definitely like going to be doing for a long time and investing in for a long time. And so that's why too, to have patience, right? If you're a gardener, if you grow your own food, you know that there's certain seasons, and you have to like, you know, you plant the seeds, but you don't harvest the crops until much later, right? You have to give it time to grow. It needs rain, it needs sunlight, it needs time. So it says here, it suggests working hard, but also taking a moment to ensure your efforts are worthwhile, which connects perfectly with the Rose in the Heart Wisdom card. It does. Changing a matter of days. Oh, I love this song. Okay, so let me see. I want to read a little bit for the patience card. It says here, there are times when the only thing to do is to wait. The seed has been planted. The child is growing in the womb. The oyster is coating the grain of sand and making it into a pearl. This card reminds us that now is a time when all that is required is to be simply alert, patient, and waiting. That's beautiful, right? So there's something around tuning into our body, to the sensations, to its wisdom, to its intuition, to what's stirring in our hearts, right? This wanting to come alive, you know, through playfulness, through joy, through this more lighthearted, more expansive energy. All right, let's read the heart wisdom, and then we'll wrap this up. We'll go to the last line. I might pull some extra cards if I feel called to do that. Heart wisdom. It says here. Oh, we read this already. Didn't we? Yeah. Remember your true nature. Love is precious treasure nestled in the depths of your heart. Horizon. Let's see, the body's wisdom, the body's power. Your life stories have made you who you are. Your body carries the memory of taboos as well as pleasures. You have probably experienced the power of your body released through orgasm and giving birth. Ooh. This card invites you to love your body, to reappropriate it. Oh, wow. Do you know it? Well, it is time to trust in your body and reconnect with your uterus, or if you don't have a uterus, with your, just body in general, your seat of power, connecting to our lower chakras, right? Our root, sacral, and solar plex chakras, working with that is good as well. Be sure you are truly on the side of love, banishing all too often negative judgments. So again, it's about self-compassion, self-love. All right, let's go to the last row. We got bee energy. Bee energy is connected to... Also, we were talking about community. It's definitely connected to community, because think of how bees live and operate, right? They operate in these hives, right? And they're always thinking about their community and serving the queen bee, which I see as like Mother Nature for us, who's providing sustenance and, and kind of holding us and containing us and all that. So that goes beautifully with possibilities. And then this beautiful rebirth card. An opportunity for deep transformation is before you. And then bees produce honey, which again is this, it connects to this rose energy of sweetness, the heart wisdom, the sweetness, the song is even saying a new horizon. A new horizon is coming, a new horizon. That's what I feel. So the bee, interestingly enough, represents deviance in this deck. And we got the Rebel card in the last reading, and I entitled that reading, The Rebellious, what was it? The Rebellious New Vision or something like that. So there is this kind of going against the grain, kind of vibe. Not rebel without a cause, we should have a cause, but not doing it the way everyone else is doing it. Finding our own, voice, our own way of contributing, something that's really close to our heart, that we're passionate about. It says here, yes, deviance, which connects to the last reading with the Rebel card. The bee spirit animal symbolizes, as we said, community, industriousness, the sweetness of life, representing a guide that encourages purposeful work. Again, we have this idea of like aligning our vision, our work with something grander, like a bigger, grander purpose. Collaboration, it represents that again. So maybe it is about finding community or finding a collective to collaborate with. Personal transformation. And what do we got here? We got the transformation card, rebirth. So it's about transforming ourselves so that we can transform the world around us. As a totem, it signifies fertility. Fertility, right? This is the bee. And what do we have here? Fertility. We have she's getting ready to give birth to something. What do we have here? Fertility. Again, we're rebirth. So fertility, dedication, the ability to achieve the seemingly impossible through perseverance. I like that. Your work becomes sacred when it serves something larger than yourself. You see? Something larger. And even when you look at this card, you see this expansiveness. You see this mountain range, and it's very You see the horizon, so it goes way far beyond us. Like there's something else. There's it's gonna impact other people, whatever we're doing. Or at least we should be, you know, thinking in that way, right? In this more expansive way. Let me see, I might read the book. Let me read the book real quick. 012, 012. Okay, B is deviance. It says here, B says that this is your time to express healthy deviance. Streamline your behavior to reflect where you're going, not where you've been. So again, another confirmation about letting go of the past, right? Sip sweetness from the flowers, from the rose maybe, that speak directly to your heart. I can't even make this up. Oh my Lord. Anyway, sip sweetness from the flowers that speak to directly to your heart rather than the ones you are drawn to by habit. And like B, you will be magically upheld on a trajectory to success. So again, it's about sustaining focus, making joyful efforts towards these bold breakthroughs, these bold possibilities, and letting go of the past, letting go of who we used to be, letting go of these limiting ways we viewed the world, letting go of these maladaptive ways of how we, you know, do relationships and all these different things, right? Maybe aligning to what really speaks to our heart and letting go of a dead-end job or making some sort of career change and going back to school or whatever it might be. It's like, you know, but it is about like listening to our hearts and following our hearts, and that is a form of self-love, like giving yourself what you need right now. Even if it goes against the grain, even if it's not, you know, if it kind of goes against cultural norms or, you know, for your age, for your gender, for your this, for your that, whatever. It's like, do whatever the fuck you want. As long as you don't harm yourself or others, you know. But if it's for the greater good of all concerned, it's like, you know, why not? It says here, Bees says, yeah, I already read this. So it's, yeah, sustained focus, joy, and bold breakthroughs. Yes. So that's beautiful. Let's move on to possibilities. Possibilities is Two of Wands. So this is fire. So something else that I want to point out is that we have a lot of different elements here. We have water, we have air, fire, air, earth. Yeah. So interesting. So the Two of Wands is represents a pivotal moment of planning. So we are still doing some planning, right? We're still doing our final planning, our final little things, crossing all our T's, you know, whatever. What do you say? Dotting all our whatever. So we're doing that. We, you know, wrapped up our loose ends, making our some final decisions here and there. Maybe there's some unexpected things that came up that now we have to do some like fast decision making on, listening to our intuition, you know, listening to our hearts, having patience. Maybe, you know, maybe you still don't have the clarity, but it's gonna soon. It's right around the corner. So it's just like giving yourself time and patience to arrive at that answer or that clarity, you know, to move forward. It says here, looking towards the future. I feel like this is very looking towards the future. Even this one, both these figures are like looking very fierce ahead of themselves, right? They're like, often indicating a choice between staying in a comfort zone or venturing into the unknown. Again, this looks like venturing into the unknown, right? It symbolizes a transition from initial inspiration to strategic action. So we do have some action cards here, I feel. This is more a mental card. This is an emotional card. This is the action card, the Two of Wands. But even if you think of bees, right? Bzzz, moving around, getting pollen, creating their little, you know, kingdom, queendom. So definitely strategic planning and taking action, and featuring a figure holding a globe, embodying personal power, foresight, and oh, that's the tarot symbol, and the desire for expansion. Again, there's this wanting expansion. Maybe we've felt too confined or too limited or too, you know, like we've outgrown certain ways of being, certain ways of living or doing things. Maybe we're outgrown relationships or where we're living. Let's see, possibilities. It says here, this card indicates that you are at a point where a world of possibilities open to you because you have grown more loving towards yourself. Amazing. We were just talking about that. More self-contained. You can work easily with others because you are relaxed and at ease. You're relaxed and at ease, right? This person looks super relaxed and at ease with themselves, right? You can recognize possibilities, right, as they present themselves, sometimes even before others can see them. Because you are in tune with your own nature, you are in tune with your own body, you're in tune with your own heart's wisdom, right? Because you are in tune with your own nature, you understand that existence is providing you with exactly what you need. Enjoy the flight and celebrate all the varied wonders of the landscape spread before you. Wow, that's so beautiful. And then that leads to our last card, which is rebirth. It says here, the opportunity for deep transformation is before you. That is what's before us in this horizon, right? Woo! Talk about powerful reading. I am ready. I'm revved up. I'm ready to go. 26. Let's see. 26 is... I haven't used this deck in a while. This is the Medicine Woman Oracle deck. It's a beautiful deck. A birth is in the works. This card indicates that it is time to give birth to yourself, saying yes to life. You are on the threshold of great transformation. You're probably carrying a foundational project for your evolution. Again, it's talking about something that we're gonna commit our energy and time and love to. It could be a relationship. It could be, again, a community project or collaboration. It could be an artistic, creative project. It could be an academic, you know, professional development thing too. It could be so many things. Moving to a different country, different state, you know. Taking a gap year sabbatical and doing some traveling. There's something around, you know, yes, like expanding ourselves and getting out of our little like comfort zone, our little box, and you know, our routines, and just going out there and living life. I feel that this is really kind of pointing us to, in whatever way that, you know, whatever that means to you. It doesn't have to mean that you have to go travel the world, but you know, maybe it's just starting with like taking a class, you know, learning something new. That's very adventurous. You know, exploring new places in your own community that you've never had time to visit or you know, explore. It says here, so saying yes to life, you're on the threshold of great transformation. What is this gift of talent or great love just waiting to hatch, waiting to be born, waiting to be birthed? At which stage are you in your sacred waiting to give birth to yourself? Which stage are you in, right? We're talking about cycles. We were talking about these cycles. What stage are you on? Is it like just the beginner stage? Or is this something that you've been sitting on for a very long time, and now it's just a matter of boom, launching it, announcing it, doing the damn thing, you know? Do you not what does it say here? Sorry. Do not try to hasten anything. Again, it's telling us to have patience. You are both blessed and protected. Trust in yourself and surround yourself with other individuals, like-minded individuals, to accompany you on this passage. So again, kind of pointing us to community, of joining forces with others. This is beautiful. Let's pull, okay, I'm going to pull one of these prism cards just for overarching vibe. Oop, what is this? Surrender. I feel like we got that card before, didn't we? I'm going to pull one more. I'm just curious. So it is about surrendering. Surrendering also is like just trusting, having patience with yourself, letting go of perfectionism, letting go of like, you know, doing things with more ease, creating more harmony, you know, smelling the roses along the way. And even if you think about two flipped, consciousness and stop. Stop could be that, like taking time, not like stop completely, but like yield maybe. I know that doesn't really say yield, but I'm going to read it in a minute. I'm just curious to see what I pull here. Let's see. We got consciousness for sure last time. Ooh, the storm. Fuck. So yeah, there's something's going to happen. Again, it doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be abrupt or disruptive. It could be like this new thing, this new getting struck by an idea, right? Like a light bulb moment. It could be getting an opportunity. What is this? Anima Munti. That's almost like the world card for me. One more, because this is confusing. I'm trying to connect the storm with the, let's see. The gem. We get this card a lot, the gem. There's a gem that's going to come, that's going to be given to us through this storm, through this unexpected opportunity, unexpected situation, unpredictable situation. This just may be disruptive, but it's going to serve us in some way. Let's read these prism cards real quick. The stop card, well, we know this, right? So we're surrendering, we're trusting our own body's wisdom and our heart wisdom, and reaching like a new timeline, a new level of consciousness. Let's see what it says here. Surrender. And it's also, this is in the same color family, which I find interesting too. Let's see what that color family means. In this deck, it means white. So absence of, it's not really absence of color. It's all the colors blended together, which I think is so beautiful. And that's almost like, you can connect that to the harmony card and this more expansive, you know, thing, energy that we've been talking about. It's a calming, it's very calming. Again, harmony. White is often associated with peace. It's used to symbolize surrender. So we have surrender. We got surrender. Let's read surrender. By ceasing to resist, you can create peace for yourself. The act can be uncomfortable at first because it hurts the ego, but when we surrender and let go, we free the parts of ourselves that work so hard to fight. It's almost like, also, I feel like it's also connected to like this acceptance, this self-acceptance that we're arriving at, you know, and we're just allowing ourselves again to be our true selves and not hiding parts of ourselves, not compartmentalizing ourselves, you know, but just being who we truly are all the time, no matter where we are or who we are, you know. All right, cool. Let's read the stop card. I want to know what the stop card is. So stop is about reflecting, you see? So we got this guide to reflect, to have patience, to take time to reflect. collect your thoughts, maybe even just take a break. It may also be a good time to think about what stopping might mean to you. Is it a forever stop or is it a pause? Again, I think it's a pause. It's, you know, something's telling us to just take a little pause before we continue on our journey. All right, this is good. And then as far as the gem and the storm, I want to read this card. Yeah, so there's something that's going to be uncovered with this storm card. Again, this unexpected, or maybe there's going to be this like instant insight that we receive, a download that kind of changes our perspective to things, or something's coming in, and it's coming in really fast, and it's like almost like if you think of lightning, it's like very dynamic, very dramatic, in a very dramatic way maybe. Or maybe like just in an unexpected way, something you weren't expecting, and that's going to hold some sort of gem, something of value for us that's going to really help us and support us in some way. And then let's read this card. And then I'm going to call it it means the soul of the world, all that is. This card indicates an initiation on the level of the soul. Woo! You will be awakened. You will awaken the unique light within and witness how this light contributes to the radiance of the entire universe. Haven't we been just talking about this? This whole reading is about that. You will sense yourself as a critical note in the cosmic orchestra. Destiny is altered as you hear the enchanted melody of all living things. It says you're tending to the sacred details of life. Wow. So tend to the sacred details of your life. What do you hold sacred in your life? That needs your love. That needs your devotion and your attention. That is like the gem that you're going to uncover. All right, my lovely folks. Thank you for being